How do you wake up a teacher? You give him a little bit of coffee. The sun is rising over, well, on my right-hand side. It is relatively quiet. I could hear the trains down by the Ohio River in the distance. The wind chime behind me is not even making any sound. The birds are chirping. It's cool out, but it's not cold. A dog is barking in the background. And today is the first Monday in August. Hey, good morning, class. My name is Oliver Wieheog. I am now a 28-year veteran of the middle school classroom. And you are listening to episode 19 of Middle School Madness, a podcast about teaching and things that are interesting to teachers. And oh, can you hear it? Listen. But okay, no, listen again. The calendar just turned August. Yeah, you heard me right. August. Ugh. Those darn school ads have been running for a week on TV. Ugh. Effing August, man. I think I love to hate August. Another summer has gone by. And as my dad would say, he was a career teacher, June and July is one long Saturday. And August is one long Sunday night. It really is. And today is the first Monday in August. And when it comes to summer, I think you've got to do two things, really. You need to break the routine that you've had in school. You've got to do different activities that aren't school-like activities, so that you eventually get to the part where you are relaxed, right? Where you feel relaxed and rejuvenated and you're ready to get back in that classroom. And I've got a theory that my summers hopefully have mimicked the way your summers have. And then when you finally hit that point of being relaxed, there are 4 things that you have that will carry you back into the classroom. So let's go back 8 weeks from now, right? Let's go back to the end of June of your last teaching year. You figure by the time it was last June of this year, you had gone 180 days plus of pretty much doing the same routine. Wake up, make your breakfast, drive to work, do your job, come home, deal with family, repeat. And you do this over and over and over again. And there's a nice rhythm, there's a nice pattern to it. And if you're a veteran like myself or in the middle of your career or just started out, the rhythm is really, really nice. And as the school year goes on, it just beats faster and faster when you get to the end of the school year, because frankly, the end of a school year is very, very exciting. And when you finally get to that last day, it feels like you are on a routine that is just revved up, that that car engine is going super hot, super fast. And then maybe the kids run out the door at school, the school year is over, you are given 1 or 2 days to close down your classroom. Summer begins, and now you've got to begin this crazy process of unwinding. You got to find time to form a new routine and do new things. And for the last 10 to 15 years, I've always had the same process, and I'm curious if it is the same as yours. So for me, I am genetically disposed for not waking up early. So I know when summer starts, I am not setting an alarm. There is no way my alarm is going off at 5:30 so that I can get out of bed at 5:50 so that I can shower, eat my breakfast, and be out the door by 6:30 so I can be up at where I need to work by union time, which is 10 minutes earlier than that, 7:15, because union time starts at 7:25. First thing I know is there's no alarms. Right? Like, I want to change. I cannot. If you sequenced my DNA, you would definitely be like, well, this human has no ability to wake up early. I can do it with an alarm, but otherwise, left on my own recognizance, there is no way anybody should ever wake up early. It's just the silliest thing I've ever heard of. And my brother, of course, loves to tell stories about this. Right? You know, even as a young child, I did not like to wake up early. And that's just the way it is. So if you're like me and you have no early DNA, I think we should all get sequenced. I wonder if 21andMe could sequence my DNA to discover I lack the ability to get up early on my own. So school gets out, you close up your classroom, I shut off my alarm, and I get about maybe a 10-day respite, but your engine is still running high. Like I said, for the last 10 years or more, in about 10 days after school let out, I would go on a high adventure with our local troop here. I was the one that had planned many of the trips, so I had a huge role of responsibility. We would do such great things as canoe the Allegheny River, right? We would then, the following year, we would bike the C&O Canal, and then finally we would find sections of the Appalachian Trail to hike. And these were great adventures. They were a different activity. You had different wake-ups, different sleeps. You would literally wake up with the sun. You would go to bed with the sun. And then you would canoe, bike, hike the next day. And it was wonderful. The stories we tell. But there was one drawback, and we'll get to that in a second. And I absolutely loved it, and it would help me unwind. But I don't know at the end of any of these if I got to the end of them and I would say, wow, I am so relaxed after a week of canoeing down the Allegheny River with 15 adolescents and, 6 of my closest dad friends. And then after this, we would have maybe 4 or 5 days at home. We would relax, go to the pool, do whatever activities, run around, sleepovers, always something to be done. And then we would head off to the beach. The great American vacation. And I love the beach. I am a beach person. You have humid air. We would go to the Outer Banks, different beaches. We would play in the surf all day, kayaking, body surfing. And if you went to the part of the Outer Banks where I went, you now could eat different food. You could go to Orange Blossoms and get their apple uglies. These things are apple dumplings the size of a football. And frankly, they're a whole meal in one, if you ask me. They are just absolutely fantastic. And maybe the next morning you would wake up and you would go to Ugly Mugs and you would get some coffee there. Or you could hang out on the back porch and just slowly begin to unwind. Because to me, there is something about the ocean that I think is different than the mountains, but they are similar. When you go to the ocean and you see something that is bigger than you, stronger than you, it is majestic in any kind of weather. It has this ability to relax the muscles all throughout your body, your neck, your lower back, everything. It even relaxes your thoughts. You could sit there and watch wave after wave after wave. And it's great. Maybe even read a book. It was hard to read a book in my 40s and mid-50s, really. You're just so busy watching other people in the surf. And it was good, but just like the high adventure, surrounded by people all the time. So we would go to the Outer Banks, you would have a great time, you would relax, you would feel more relaxed, but you're not truly relaxed yet, right? This is the evolution of summer. You've slept in, you've done some different activities, kayaking, running, you get it. And then I would return home for a few days, and then it would be off to PSEA Leadership Camp in Gettysburg. I would do half my time there, and then I would go to Scout Camp, and then as the years went on, I would just go to Scout Camp the whole time. Leadership Camp was so much fun. Oh my gosh, to have time to talk union, to build union, to toss out ideas, it was good. But you still had this feeling of being on because you're around people, right? You're putting on a smile, you are happy to see them, but you're putting energy forth into conversations. And then Scout Camp was just more of the same leadership thing. Now, the bonus of Scout Camp, in my world, was the 2 o'clock nap. we would tell the new dads, once the Scouts go off to their afternoon thing, this is the greatest invention out there. Just go to your tent. It's the afternoon. The sun is shining. It was usually cool at our camp. And just take a nap for an hour. And you would fall asleep to what would be described as one of the greatest sounds in all of the world, and teachers know this. It's the sound of people just laughing or having fun or doing activities. And it's off in the distance. It's a mirage of laughter. And it was great, and you would just close your eyes, and like I said, the stress just leaves your body. And then you wake up in the leadership, and all the fun and the cooking and the cleaning comes back in. But those naps were truly some of the best in my life. I will say that forever. Falling asleep at a scout camp to the afternoon sounds of scouts being scouts is truly something that I enjoyed. So now we've gone through the scouting camp, and you finally get to the end of July. And the end of July really it's magical. Because now I'm guessing that you two have broken all of the routines of school. You're almost 8 weeks out of school. You don't wake up at the same time as school. You don't go to bed at the same time as school. You do different activities in school. Although my activities were still with a lot of people. But now there's this strange, I'm going to use the gesture, dip, right? Where there's really nothing on the calendar. It's the end of July. Most families have left town for their vacations. Other people have gone and doing other things. There's a calmness that has always happened at the end of July. And I think when you hit that last week in July where you have now gone through the obligations of summer, everything, then relaxation hits, then exhaustion fades away, creativity comes back, and it is just the best. I mean, for decades I have sat back here on this very same porch, and you hit the end of July, put on the Tour de France, eat a Pop-Tart, drink some coffee, and as they say, the world stands still. The days in July become long and awesome. You wake up sometimes with like, wow, I don't really have this list in my head of anything to do. Maybe I'll cut the grass today. Maybe I'll wash my car today. Maybe I'll go for a bike ride. But they're all maybes. And that is truly when you know that summer has reached its zenith. And it's great. And I think that happened to me, well, a couple days ago. And it was really good. And it happens every year. Because now you are relaxed. And the moment you feel relaxed, well, you know what happens next, right? You know what happens next. Because it happened yesterday. The calendar turns. It's August 1st. And there is a feeling that now creeps into the back of your head. You no longer wake up with any maybes, right? You know, you don't really wake up. You know it's coming. You can't stop it. It's the opposite of Christmas. Maybe, because it's, first. But it creeps back in. Maybe you get a text, right, from some friends about, hey, did you read the email? Go check out the email. And in your head now you begin to think about school, supplies that need to be purchased. Maybe I do need to buy another 3 pairs of khaki pants, right? Because you frankly can never have too many khaki pants at all. And before you know it, school is going to start in 7 days. In 7 days. And that's it. Here we go. We're doing this again. It's the greatest invention out there. It's my high definition TV. I absolutely love school, despite the fact my DNA precludes me from waking up early. And now that we've reached the zenith of summer, right, where we've been rejuvenated, fulfillment, contentment, we have all of those things. I think there's 4 things that all teachers have that come back to them in the summertime that are going to keep us going as teachers, and we need to remind ourselves that we have these skill sets and how to use them to do another year. And of course, the joke is always Harry Potter. Should you run out of these during the school year because you used them up, you just go to aisle 9 3/4 and you buy some more, right? But I think one of the things that definitely replenishes in the summer for every teacher, first year, mid-year, veteran, is patience. You've just got to be patient as a teacher. Especially in that first year, my gosh, you're going to have new kids come in. It's a new experience to the school, to you, to everything. And you've got to be patient. Every year for the last 28 years, there's always this squirrel in my class, Doesn't matter the gender. And the first thing I think is, you're just nervous, right? I'm just going to be patient with you. And I would bet a nickel that come May, you won't be a problem in my class because you figured out and adjusted. But you've got to be patient. Even on day one, you got to be patient. And that's the joy of summer. You get to fulfill your bag of patience, and hopefully you don't need any more. But I think we become teachers because we have a lot of patience, and you need to remind yourself to be patient throughout the whole journey of what we're about to begin. Number 2, strength. You got to be strong to be a teacher. And I'm not talking like muscle strong, because, well, frankly, if you were to see me, I look like the Jonas Vingegaard of teachers. And after this summer, where I biked too many miles, I maybe look like Jonas, besides the fact that he's half my age. But you've got to have strength, and I always think strength means mental strength, a little bit of physical strength. It is a demanding job. You're about to go through hurdles unseen that you've never had, despite your years of teaching. And strength is definitely a key to it all. There's no doubt. And maybe I should also equate strength with wisdom here. Like, you're going to have the strength to know this is not an idea that I need to invest time in, or this is a project that I do want to invest time in, or I have an idea and I am going to have the strength to fulfill this idea regardless of the obstacles that come in front of me. And those are fun ideas, and that's coming from me, somebody in the creative business of teaching TV and film production to middle schoolers. Oh boy, oh boy. And I know that this year I'm going to have a little strength, because we have gotten rid of the cell phones in our building, and my classroom uses them quite a lot. So we're going to figure this out. It's all good. The next thing all teachers need when they start out the school year, the third out of 4 things, is guidance. Sometimes you're just going to need guidance. I don't care where you are in your career. And to me, guidance always comes in this form. You didn't ask for it. It's the whisper. It's somebody saying, here's what I did. They give you an idea. Or maybe you show up and you're like, God, I've been working on this thought. What do you do? And someone's going to give you the answer. Rarely is it clubbed over your head. Or you look around and you see somebody who's like, I like their style. I like what they're doing. Let me give that a try. And that's always fun. And those moments come probably in the beginning or the middle, where you have a professional day or a learning day, and it's in these casual conversations. And they say something that resonates with you, and then off you go. You have your guidance. So be aware of something that you want to do, and be aware of the guidance that other teachers will give you, because you never know, but you got to be open to it. And the last thing I always know that rejuvenates over the summer and fills up, and I hope this does for you guys listening, is humor. The ability for humor. The strange thing of humor. The joy of humor. Humor in general. You need humor. Gosh, humor's the best. I like it. And I know in those first couple of days, my humor saves me so much. Because, you're coming to a class that's TV and film production. It's not the English, Math, Science class. And just being humorous, making fun of myself. If you can see this and you're watching this and you can see the visual, well, I think you know that my code name this year is going to be Q-tip. The time has come. I am no longer salt and pepper. Toothpick, not so much, but Q-tip will work. And they will look at me like, well, I don't get it. Why is your name? And then they'll figure it out. If you're just listening to this, it's because I have white hair now. All my strands of black hair have left me. They've gone south, maybe. Or maybe they stayed at the beach. I don't know. And so now that you have your 4 things and they're filled up, patience, strength, guidance, and humor, you can begin the school year. And it's going to be helpful. And that is a summer routine in me. There is a rhythm to the summer of how you unwind, how you relax, how you break different routines, how you do different activities, right? And then when all of that happens, you have more patience, strength, guidance, and humor to return back to the classroom. I would love to know your summer routines. I would like to know whether the qualities you think you need to rejuvenate before you go back into the classroom. I am super excited for this year, as I am. The list of things inside my head has really begun to grow, whether I want it to or not. And that's just the nature of the job that we do. But for one glorious day, for today, because today is the first Monday in August, and the list in my head, it's a short one. So there's the sound of the coffee maker, right? It could be time for another cup of coffee. I'm going to hang out on my patio just a little longer today and soak up all the rays of summer. I might even go down to the end of my plan. I want to watch that sunset. I'm going to keep my alarm off a few more days because I want to enjoy these last few days of that non-school routine. Please send me an email about your routine and how your summers go at wieheog@gmail.com. I would love to hear your thoughts. Guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you had a great summer and you hit the end of your summer feeling relaxed and rejuvenated. And as always, I am so glad you decided to become a teacher and get involved in teacher. There really is no better place than the classroom. And the world needs good teachers. Thanks for listening, everybody. And we will see you in the hallway. That was really, really fun. I can shower now. I haven't showered in days. Awesome.